Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Nerds the Human, and welcome to this, my very first time-lapse of Medieval 2 Total War. And you might be thinking it's a little bit of an odd setup around the map. Why is it set up the way it is? Well, I recently did a campaign as the Timurids, and I wanted to have a little look at how this might play out if it was just the AI. So this is the exact map I used. I've got Baghdad over here. This is what the Timurids started with. Yeah, strange. The only faction with one city is the one that did remarkably well. Obviously, most of the others have just taken the rebel settlements around them, apart from Kiev over here, which is a bit of a rebel stronghold, much like in my campaign. So yes, obviously they do have a bit of a head start over the Timurids, but it didn't seem to go very well for them nonetheless. In case you wondered, over here in the Americas was England and Spain, even though Spain would obviously eventually just die out in that part of the world. And of course, a big shout out to Macleod, who, as far as I'm aware, is the first YouTuber to do any Total War time lapses. So this is an honour to you, sir. It's fair to say that that was a fairly comprehensive victory for the old Timurids. Only faction to start with one settlement, and did it seemed to demolish everyone nonetheless. And you might have noticed the Mongols have hoarded here, and yeah, they're not gonna be doing too well either. I don't think. I'm pretty sure the Timurids are gonna take them out of the game. They well, it took them a while to get going, but they eventually kept on sweeping west and have taken everyone out here. They're even in Venice and Milan at this stage. So I think if we kept playing this would clearly be a Timurid destruction of who is left. But a good shout out to Scotland and Denmark. They've done pretty well here. Scotland, who, by the way, whilst they now have all of like Spain and Portugal and only just recently lost France, they actually took a long time to get going. If you watch that back, it's actually after the game would normally end around turn 250 when they actually took their crusade to Constantinople. They hadn't actually left the UK at that point, but they got a lust for blood, it seems, and went on a bit of a killing spree until the Danes turned up and ruined it for them. What else is around here? Oh yes, of course, the Hungarians. Hungarians just about holding on. I don't think much longer, to be honest. Imperials just about clinging on to life as well. And actually, yeah, big shout out to Egypt, who've been sitting here on Cyprus for hundreds, thousands of years at this point. No one's gone to finish them off. I've actually looked around. I'm struggling to see any Timurid boats out in the Mediterranean whatsoever, so I think they're safe for the time being. In fact, on the faction scrolls, they actually have the best economy apart from myself, of course, as the Aztecs. But there we are. Yes, on that note, England really don't count. Obviously, I gave them this at the start. They outlived the Spanish in the Americas, of course, but no, they've had a pretty poor campaign, all things considered. They're even actually. This is an interesting one. They've got a crusading army over here, and yeah, it's not been going well, this crusade. I think this is a crusade for Riga at the moment, or it might have been Vilnius, I'm not sure which. Yeah, they're just wandering down the Mexican coast here, which I don't think is going to get them very, very far. They need to head up back to the north, of course. That's why the army's so depleted, it's just not getting anywhere. Certainly an interesting one, and I think similar, actually, to what you might expect from the Timurids, but there wasn't a second horde, you might have noticed, and there's a good reason that they didn't turn up as a horde later on, because I did do that originally. It caused a few problems. I'll show you what happened in that particular incident. So yes, on this particular iteration of the time lapse, I had quite a few problems with the game crashing on end turns, or really struggling on end turns. That's because when the Timurids already exist and you've left the horde in, they just do this nonsense, and they will just move like 2 inches every time. It causes complete chaos throughout the entire map. Interesting to see. Yeah, Spain did pretty well on this one, and Milan and Poland. It's been a bit of a different campaign to the one I just showed you. So it's surprising how different these can turn out. Otherwise, it's the exact same thing, except on the version that we just watched, the Timurids didn't have the second horde, and actually did much better for it, because they just bumble around. It seems to be the curse of the horde on this game. But yes, in case you're wondering why there wasn't a second pile of Timurids turning up like the Mongols did, this is why. I do have to play around the game files a little bit, but this was a slight problem. It's fine, by the way, if you're doing your own Timurid campaign, to leave it in. You'll just take control of them, and then you, hopefully, if you're sensible, won't cause this chaos, whatever this is. So it's fine if you're doing it, but if you leave it to the AI, yeah, take out the Timurid invasions if you're going to give them a starting city, I would suggest. That is all for today then, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on this very first time-lapse of Medieval 2 Total War. I'll probably do a few more of these occasionally, particularly if I've got a modded map for one of my campaigns. So you can probably expect to see one of these for my Kalmar Union campaign as well. That'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. But for now, I will leave you. I'm Thomas, this is Timurids the Human, and this has been my very first time-lapse on Medieval 2. Thank you, and good night. Execute. Sorry! A lot of arrows coming in, that's a lot of jam! The red line of doom is not your friend anymore, sir. No, it is not. No, it is not.